Hello and welcome. This is coach and hypnotist Susan Urban. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your schedule and listening to this important message. Now, people ask me all the time, what is it like to experience hypnosis? And more importantly, how can I benefit from the urban healing hypnosis session? Quantum healing, to be specific. Now, there are a number of reasons you might wish to experience working with me, but homing in on the main intention can be very helpful. Almost anything you might wish to heal, know more about, or experience can be addressed in our work together. Now, typically, mental and physical ailments are rooted in trauma from a person's present life. Sometimes they're even connected to a person's past life. During our hypnosis session, you get to discover the root cause and lessons you need to know to heal from your issue. As I share this message with you, you will understand why my method is one of the most powerful and profound techniques known in today's world. And where I learned this technique, most of the parts that make it so different are from Dolores Cannon. Now, what is hypnosis? Hypnosis is actually an easy and natural process. It's just relaxation. We all relax and drop into deeper states of consciousness without even realizing it. Visualization is part of hypnosis and completely natural. We do it every time we read a story, remember, or imagine something. Having a hypnosis session is very much like participating in a long, detailed, and involved daydream. You really will feel as if you have just returned from an amazing journey, having visited other worlds and lifetimes, and in fact, you will have done just exactly that. The hypnosis method I practice is a powerful tool to access that all-knowing part of ourselves that has been called the higher self, the Oversoul, or even the soul itself. The super-conscious, that's how I refer to it, the SC, is that greater part of ourselves that is always connected to the source. Some call it God, and has unlimited knowledge and an unlimited ability to heal the physical body. Now, most hypnotists don't know how to tap into this part of you and therefore deprive you of incredible information and healing you are actually privileged to receive. Now, people say a session like this one is life changing. So here's how it goes. The instant you close your eyes, you have already begun to go into trance because we have closed off one of the most important sensory inputs, which is your sight. Then you will become focused on my voice and will follow it. The SC comes through everyone this way. Our goal is to get you, the client, into the deepest possible state of trance so that we can have access to this part. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but I have found this technique to be successful in over 90% of my cases. And here's what's fascinating as well. As human DNA continues to be further activated and become more and more evolved, in fact, more and more conscious, I'm finding that my clients are aware of what happens in their session and may be able to hear everything consciously and remember most of it. Now, typically, I spend about 3 to 4 hours with each client. Some require more than that. And I have found that I can address all of the client's problems, whether they are physical, emotional, or have to do with relationships, in one session, and they do not need any more, unless they wish to choose to have more. Now, important, I do not allow anyone else to be present during the session. No matter how close they are to their spouse or their friend, they often insist they will tell them everything anyway. They have a tendency to hold back if there is someone else in the room. During the interview, I want to find out as much as possible about their life, and this includes personal information about their marriage sometimes and private life. Now, things are often revealed that they do not want the other person to know. Besides, when they are in trance, many personal and highly emotional subjects may emerge. They often feel embarrassed, crying, or becoming emotional with me, and I know they would tend to hold back if there was someone else in the room. These emotions, however, are very, very important to release, and they must be allowed to vent. This is a part of the healing. When the emotion comes through during the session, I always know we have hit on something important. So like I said, we begin by talking, going over the process and your questions. Then you get to lay down or make yourself as comfortable as you want to be, get to relax, and then we begin the actual hypnotic process. Now, you're not asleep. I am not in control of you. You're in control the entire time. And on those rare occasions where you might even in the middle of the process have to use the bathroom, no problem. I will guide you, and then we will go back to where we left off. Now, sometimes while in hypnosis, most people begin to see images. They could either be bright or muted, and we spend time to unfold, to discover more depths and more details about these images. And the more you describe, the more the scene unfolds, and the more information we will get, and the more learning and healing we will uncover. And these scenes may be from past life, or they may be from this lifetime from the past. And once we have done that, we move on to connecting to guides and healing energy, and all the questions you have will be answered. Lastly, you come back to current awareness. Afterwards, we always spend a little bit of time going over what was experienced and make sure that you are awake and grounded. And like I said, this entire process can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours total, and occasionally even a little bit longer. It generally is not a good idea to have additional appointments after your session or activities that require a great deal of concentration. You should take it easy, and it's best to clear your day for the session if possible. Now, sometimes I hear people say, but what if I can't be hypnotized? Well, everybody can be hypnotized to an extent because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. The minute we tell ourselves, I can't do something, we're going to sabotage ourselves. When we tell ourselves we can, then we will be infused with that power and with that strength and that belief. So your belief is really important here. And sometimes the conscious mind is trying to maintain control. Now, the client may think they're ready for the session, yet they may try to maintain control. The conscious mind will attempt to distract them from relaxing and entering the trance state by focusing their attention on the body. This is not useful for a successful session. Imagine if you were sitting at the dentist's office and every move the dentist makes, you start to question and stop and say, is that the right instrument? Are you really certified? What college did you go to? Are you wearing the right tools? Are you wearing the right gown? Is this the right seat height? And all those things. And if you were to do that, not only would you be there all day, but chances are your dentist wouldn't be able to do what he does best. So do you see how simply trusting, believing in yourself that you absolutely have this ability is so useful and instrumental for us, right? Now, there are rare cases that, again, where the conscious mind just wants to be so powerful and sabotage everything that we have set out to do. Now, I have these more often occur with analytical people, especially individuals who have control-oriented occupations. They often feel they will lose control if they allow themselves to relax and follow instructions. And like I said, these types of people will sabotage the potential to get what they actually came here for. Another perfect example of this would be, imagine you're watching a movie in the movie theater. But your conscious mind is constantly reminding you that this is all just made up, these are just actors, none of this is true. You keep thinking about all the things that you need to do when you get home, and watching a movie is stupid anyway and a waste of your time, and on and on and on it goes. Now you have just sabotaged yourself from the joy and the experience of allowing yourself to be swept away in a story and simply dream. And so we have a choice. We can either choose to hold on and analyze everything that takes place, or we can simply drift off, relax, and surrender to the magic, to what comes in. And if you want to have a great session, I suggest the latter. Now, here's the best part and the most important part about your session. This is where it gets really good. You get answers to your life's most important questions, and you get the healing energy, the ability for you to raise your frequency. So everything in our session is customized to you, and your guides will bring forward what is most important for you to know or understand, so that you can begin to heal and release energy and become your best self. The way this simply works is that during your session, I will be asking your questions, and the answers will come through you as you answer them. This is why it's important that we record your session, so that you can listen to the messages as often as you need. Now, we all have a set of guides that are always with us. You may or may not know this already. They could be angels, ancestors, ascended masters, crossed over loved ones, or higher dimensional beings. And again, there have been so many studies. This is scientifically proven. Tons and tons, thousands of sessions have been recorded. And there's proof and evidence that these guides do come through, and they do help us and support us. Now, people always ask me, what kind of questions should I be asking? Well, for example, really there's no good or bad or wrong question. It could be anything from questions about your relationships, friendship, marriage, your future, your career, if you are on the right path. Find out your true purpose. This is the number one question. People always want to know, what is my purpose? Whether you want answers for your children, pets, or health-related issues, whether it's allergies or diseases, disorders, chronic pain you might experience, or if you want to know how to heal from past hurts and trauma. Or maybe you even want to check in to see if you're holding on to any toxic energy in your body and how to release this. And you may want to know why you have certain struggles. So the best thing is for you to neatly handwrite a list or print it out on the computer so that your questions can be easily read during our session. Also put these questions and concerns in the order of importance, as we may not be able to address them all. Now, some clients may just have a few questions and others have dozens. It really does not matter how many you come up with, as long as you put them in the order of importance. Now, of course, they can be modified, and we will certainly discuss that when you are ready for your session. Another important thing I want to share with you is that sometimes you may not get the answers you want, but you can be assured that you will get the answers you need to help you move forward most powerfully. And also, remember, we have free will. Some people are not willing to listen to the advice, and of course, that's up to you. Another important thing that I already mentioned is you will be provided a recording of your session, because listening to your session in the days, weeks, and even months ahead is an important part of the experience. Even if your conscious mind remembers the session immediately afterwards, It can, certainly. Just as some dreams can begin to fade from your memory, so can these memories, even if you had an unforgettable experience. So it's important that you listen to it. In addition, any healing or life improvement suggestions can and will be reinforced by listening repeatedly to the audio. The goal is to have your conscious mind get on board and align with your higher self and its goals and accept any changes and healing you intend to occur. Now, a couple of words in regard to an online session. So, if you're participating in an online session with me, a couple of things we need. These are recommendations. We need to have a strong internet connection. You want to be as close to the router as possible, or even better, directly plug into the router. Usually, an Ethernet cable will be useful with that. This way, you don't need to worry about internet signals going up and down. All right? Now, next, make sure that you have Zoom installed on the device that you choose to use. It's free, and you will receive a link from me that you can just click on, and it will take us right into our room. Make sure that your sound and video are turned on. Next, a headset with a microphone is highly recommended. Often, when you're in a trance state, you might speak very softly and very quietly and low, and it will be difficult for me to understand you. And since your session will be recorded, we want to make sure that you get a quality recording. An MPOW headset is highly recommended. You can buy it really reasonably for about $30 or less. Amazon is a good source, or any other source that you choose to use. Yes, earbuds can work, but having a microphone makes all the difference. If you're using Bluetooth headsets, by the way, please know that the energy frequency can drain these very quickly. It is also advised that your computer or phone are plugged in. We don't want to drop off in the middle of the session if we can help it. Sometimes we can't help it, and that's okay. But we want to make sure that we condition everything as powerfully as possible. Now, make sure that you know how to connect your headset to Zoom. If you're using your phone, make sure it's on airplane mode so that we don't get distracted, not even buzzing or vibrating. That is very distracting. So you want to make sure that you turn all distractions off. And most importantly, well, all these are really important, but make sure that you're absolutely undisturbed during our time together and that your family, children, pets, or even friends will not intrude. Whatever it takes, whether you want to put up a do not disturb sign or let everybody know that you're going to be, busy for the next couple of hours. And again, please do whatever it takes. Now, that doesn't mean that we might not hear a siren go by or dogs barking in the neighborhood or the mailman dropping off mail. That's all okay. Those are just your normal, typical sounds that you get to experience every day. And that's okay. We will work around that. So you don't have to worry about having to build a cave for yourself, all right? So, lastly, if you are motivated for change and determined to succeed, this natural and powerful method can help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I want to invite you to a little treat, little mind candy, if I may. I'm inviting you to listen to a real session that I recently had with one of my clients where the super-conscious came through very powerfully. So I'm going to find that tab now and play it for you. All right, obviously not the whole thing, but just a little bit so you can understand what a session like that might sound like. Here we go. And it's due to a program. She believes that with the good comes the bad, which is false. Good brings on more good. But the other thing she fears is, well, not that she fears, but she tells herself to soothe anxiety that the bad brings good. But the truth is good brings good, and yes, bad can bring good, but her life is supposed to be more good than bad. And her fear causes her to constantly sabotage herself and put herself in situations of conflict because she's afraid
So she kind of stays on this like equilibrium where, something good happens, but then, she self sabotages and makes something bad again. But she doesn't need to fear that with a lot of good will come to bad. That is false. That is a thought that does not serve her, caused, by parenting and anxiety from her parents. And it's false. Good brings good. Like attracts like. And yes, it's true that she'll have bad days, and that means the next day will be good. But that doesn't mean that the next day after that will be bad. The more good that she has in her life, the more good she can spread to others, and the more she can help other people in this world, which truly is her life purpose, is to spread good and positivity and to help as many people as possible. And really, her true purpose is every person she comes in contact with is to affect them in a positive way.
Yeah.
And that is her gift. There's no reason for her to think that she needs to have bad things happen to her for good things to happen. It's totally false.
That is. So thank you for allowing me to invite you to this. And I hope you can sense and maybe even got goosebumps as you were listening to me, as I do every time I listen to my sessions. And of course, this client gave me permission to share this with you. And I hope that I was able to answer some questions that you may have had about this process and how it could work for you and how it could benefit you. And I hope that I gave you some insight today. And of course, should you have more questions, you already know where to reach me. My website is successmindsetbyurban.com and my email is susan at successmindsetbyurban.com. I look forward to having a lot of amazing, amazing conversations with you. And ultimately, I would love the privilege to be working with you on such a profound and deep level so that you can get all the answers that you may be right now maybe ruminating about and wondering about. And like I said, they can all be answered within a few hours. And thank you again for listening to this. Much love.